Hi everyone, and welcome back to Project No Buy. Today's video is just a short PSA about Black Friday. And I can maybe summarize this video with just two words, and that is, just don't. Black Friday, just don't do it. Not trying to use a popular slogan here, but you get the drift. So here's your November reminder as this shopping occasion comes upon us, that you must go in with a list. And if in doubt, don't purchase it. Because you might not be getting that much of a deal anyway. I think it's been well exposed by now that companies inflate prices just to give a discount on these kind of sales holidays. And even if you are saving a few dollars, it is actually worth more to be able to buy something when we actually need it, or at a time that better serves us. So it's actually worth quite a lot to not be pressured by companies trying to get us to buy things. I want to be buying things when I decide to buy them, not when the marketing and companies are trying to make me buy them at the time of their choosing. Last year I did a choose your own adventure video. In fact, I might have been wearing the same shirt. I think I remember wearing black for that video. And I'll link it up here in case you want to try that out again. I can't promise that it was a good video, but it might have been interesting for some of you. And I think the questions probably still stand about whether things are in your budget, whether they were on a list, whether you have consciously thought about the things that are on your plan for purchase for Black Friday. I guess in the spirit of Black Friday plans, having a list, I will briefly share my plan for Black Friday this year. And the longest standing item on this list has always been viola strings. This has been the time that I annually make my purchase of 2 or 3 sets of strings to last for the next year. And so I do plan to do that again. And I do anticipate that costing between $200 and $300 for maybe 3 sets of viola strings. My husband and I will look for some gifts for each other, for others in our family at this time. So specifically, my husband was thinking about a kind of rechargeable flashlight by a particular brand for his dad. I think we might look into getting one of the Warmy stuffed animals for his mom. And for the kids, we have a lot of kind of odds and ends at little toys and things like that. But we were looking at getting the nugget chunk. I don't know that they have Black Friday sales, but again, these are our specific wish list items for those of you who are intrigued to know. Again, I'm not trying to be influency here. I'm not trying to make you want to buy these things. My husband wants a big stupid truck, so we're probably going to be saving a lot of money for that. He's also in the market for a new electric razor, so that might be something that shows up under the Christmas tree. And there are a couple of other random accessories that he's interested in for his hobbies that I'm not going to get into too much detail in here. I do have a couple of things on my wish list, and ironically, they are things that are on that list of products that I continue to use broken. And so I might be upgrading myself out of some of those this year, this holiday season. I might not. I'm still undecided. Black Friday is not yet upon us, and I'm still kind of thinking through my options in these categories. And one of these things I think was a desire sparked by doing that video, because I was looking at loungewear sets because I Googled for a picture to include as something, an example of what I was talking about. And I think those comfort sets came up, the sweat sets. Again, not sponsored, not because of the brand, just because of the color and the nature of the garment. So I'm thinking about that. And then I am thinking as well of the hoop earrings that I talked about several months ago. And it's one of those things where the sweat sets are something that I wanted in the month of September. I think I was in the works of making that video in September, and maybe it got posted in October. And so I have wanted this sweat set since late September, early October, and have kind of been thinking about it on and off. It still remains to be seen, like I said, whether I actually buy it or not, because I know now that it's not actually going to do a lot for my life. It's just going to be kind of the new status quo in terms of the sweatsuit that I wear. And hopefully it'll be one that I wear a lot and one that I reach for as soon as it comes out of the laundry, like the one that I continue to use in a stained condition is. And again, that's the best case scenario. I am aware that it will too become stained and dirty and stretched out, ill-fitting, faded. This will be the fate of this sweatsuit as well if it comes into my life. And so I have no illusions now as far as what it can do for me, how it's going to make me feel. And the rose-colored glasses are off. If I do end up acquiring this, it'll just be a nice gift to have under the Christmas tree. It'll be something that I use and wear, and it will probably, sooner than I expect, also look not new and arguably possibly bad. And, you know, maybe stains will be easier to get out of this sweat set than the old one. I can't tell until I get it and try if I end up getting it. And so I do think I'm going into it with less illusions this time. And like I said in my notes about this, I'm not sure if I've said it on camera at this point yet, but I am not influenced to want this brand. I haven't actually seen any influencers talking about it. I think I've seen one of Shauna Rapari's videos. I think she was talking about it because somebody was asking her if they should buy it or not in one of her de-influencing videos. And so the only time I've come across the brand is in her video, de-influencing. And again, it's not anything to do with the actual brand or the features of the clothing other than the utilitarian, you know, the colors match what I already have. And it is the type of garment that I'm looking for. It's a sweat set. And hopefully, according to what I've seen, the sizing would work for me. Okay, on to the hoop earrings that I talked about back over the summer, I think, where I wore my silver hoops with the fake diamonds for a summer concert and thought, oh, I really should have a nicer version of these for performing and for wearing and for enjoying, because this version I've had for years is kind of tarnished and it's worse for wear. And I managed to stop wanting them. And even now, my desire for these earrings is not that of 1,000 burning suns. But I guess honestly what it is I'm still kind of in the habit of Christmas gifts. And at this time, I'm still not necessarily ready to completely part with physical gifts under the tree for everybody in my family. And I think that that's okay. And I do think that in my future, I can live with the idea of having fewer and fewer physical gifts, but still having perhaps 1 or 2 physical gifts under the tree. I do kind of think that that's a reasonable ritual and tradition, and I don't necessarily think it's okay to acquire things that you don't really want. You know, that's not something that I'm encouraging, and it's one of those things where should you only acquire things that you desire with a 10 out of 10 fire of 1,000 burning suns level of desire? Or is that level of desire not really normal and healthy to have for material things, right? Like, I am of two minds about this, I guess. And certainly if I get something like these earrings, they're probably not going to be cheap, because this time around I would get a sterling silver version still with fake diamonds. Like, there's no way I'm getting real gemstones in my earrings. I would get something like cubic zirconia or something like that. But there are probably options, you know, the ones that I've seen are between $100 and $200, or they can go up from there, but that's kind of the range that I'm looking at to get the sterling silver. And that's not just money that sneezes out of your nostrils, right? Like, I know I'm getting the phrase wrong there, but that's not just chump change. And I don't know that I'm advocating for, like, if you don't really want them, you should get them, right? Like, that's not the path I want to go down either. And I do think I would get a lot of value out of them. I do think they would bring joy as far as if I were to acquire them and if they were to become kind of a daily wear pair of earrings. And it is kind of something that's come about from wearing these hoops that I have more, because I do strongly prefer silver to gold. And these are gold, and they're also the only hoop earrings I have like this that are still kind of nice looking. The silver, smaller diamond ones have those holes in them, and they're kind of green now. So I do think I would get use out of them. I do think I would get joy out of them. And I'm still thinking about it, honestly. And we'll see after Black Friday happens and the dust settles, whether or not I've managed to stick to my list, which at this point is really just those few things, you know, for myself and others. And for myself, it was really just the sweat sets, the earrings, the viola strings, and possibly the Lisa Eldridge lipsticks that are still on the back burner of my mind after the Lena Norms video where she compared the red lipsticks. I don't usually name drop, but again, I think those of you who know what I'm talking about already know. So this is not to disparage her at all. I still enjoy her content and her as a human being, you know, what I can know of her through a screen and the parasocial nature of this relationship. But anyway, that is still kind of on the back burner as far as something that I might like to have. And so there we are. That is my list in terms of holiday gifting. And other than that, we do stocking stuffers that are things like snacks or things that we actually need, like toothpaste or hair ties that we use on a daily basis, you know, not like, I mean, for the kids, we might get some like nicer ones with things on them, decorative bows or whatever. For me, it would be something utilitarian because I'm not looking to add to any collections or anything like that, or acquire things that I don't actually use. And I don't want to make the mistake that I did in Valentine's 2024 of acquiring way too many tinted lip balms just because it was a holiday. And so, you know, I'm not trying to overconsume, trying to definitely keep it to consumables for things like stockings. And then, you know, maybe one makeup new product that I don't really need in terms of the luxurious lipstick that I have kind of been thinking about for a few months now. And again, I don't know if there's going to be Black Friday deals on any of these things. I don't know if there will be deals that encourage people to spend more. For example, if there will be a deal on the lipstick, but only if you buy 3 things or spend a certain amount or anything like that. And my resolve here is to not fall into any of those kinds of deals that encourage buying anything that was not originally on the list. And I guess finally, I'm still saving for my electric instruments. And so I do have motivation, you know, strong motivation to stick to my list here and my budget here and not go over. And hypothetically, all of these things could cost, you know, if we take, let's just say $250 for the viola strings, another $150 for the sweatpants sets. Again, I'm not having exact figures here since I haven't looked these up recently. Maybe another $150 for the earrings. And then I don't know what the lipsticks cost, is maybe $50 just to get to a nice round number. I think that would put us at $600 for a kind of holiday spend, with, again, $250 of that being viola strings. So if we want to say $350, that actually does kind of feel like a lot still for my individual Christmas gifts. But I know for a fact that I've spent more than that every year prior to this in recent history. And so I guess I should kind of take it in smaller steps and not expect too much of myself in terms of a radical 180-degree turn. And if I can stick to this list and this price range, this budget, I can still meet all of my other goals in terms of savings targets, and perhaps I should focus on that. Anyway, we'll see. That is my list prior to the holiday of Black Friday. This list is not a mandate that I must buy these things, but these are the purposes and the specific items that I have on my radar. I would love to hear what's on your radar, what occasions you're buying these things for, whether it's utilitarianism, you know, items throughout the year, whether it's gifts for the holiday season. I guess in previous years, I might have been more interested in stocking up on things during this time of sales, like the mascara that I use regularly and other things like that. Really, I've realized it's really only that mascara after doing this no-buy project and realizing how long it takes me to use up products that I feel like I use regularly. But again, because that's the only thing, I actually find it more valuable to not save the money and to wait and use things up and then buy it as I actually go, so that I don't end up in the habit of purchasing things that I don't actually need when I don't need them. And again, maybe it depends how close I am to using up what I have at that point. But for Black Friday, I do actually think I still have at least another month in the mascara that I currently have. And so I might as well wait for the New Year's sales in terms of, you know, whatever sale season might result in a cheaper price for things that I already use. In this case, that specific mascara. And we'll just wait and see. So that's my 2 cents on stocking up or trying to get a good deal during the time of sales. So anyway, do share your lists, do share your plans, do share your messages of resolve, and I would love to hear from you in the comments below. With that, I will say bye for now, and see you in the next one.